Good evening, Realize Metal fans, and welcome to this most magical episode of the Hereliesmetal Metal Too Many Notes music review. What is going on here? Why is this episode so magical?
Well, today we're here to discuss the new album from the band White Magician. Called Dealers of Divinity.
Let's check it out.
We even dressed up for it.
Well, we always dress like this.
Oh, wait, yes. Normally we put on band shirts. That's us dressing up for the reviews, but this is how we normally dress.
we couldn't find any band shirts that were clean, so
just wear our pajamas.
These are how we usually dress. So, yes, White Magician.
It's my evening cape. Okay, White Magician. This is a heavy metal quartet from Detroit, Michigan, featuring let's take a look at the picture. Mofang 10 Grant on bass.
Whoa.
Musicians, as you can see. Master Kamandriani on drums. Mars Mysterio on guitars.
Those are magician names.
And the Great Kaiser on vocals and guitars. Lead vocals.
Those are all magician titles. I wonder if these guys are card guys or if they're, other kind of...
They seem to be card guys.
Maybe they're just card guys.
I like that one of them is holding the King of Clubs, but the other one's got the King of Hearts.
No Ace of Spades, though. None of that bullshit. None of that like cliche bullshit. Right?
I mean, that guy's got him over there.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't match the faces to the names on these guys.
Always got it. You got to have that. I was like, oh, they didn't do that, but I guess they did. Okay, no offense.
It's subtle, though.
Subtle.
It's fine.
He's not flashing in your face.
All right. We're here to just discuss Dealers of Divinity. Can you go to the Bandcamp?
Bandcamp? Whoa. That's a cool picture.
This is their first album. It was released on Cruz del Sur Music on November 20th. That's 11/20/2020. Is that a magic number?
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose. Numerology.
But yeah, Cruz del Sur. That's kind of like the place you want to be for heavy metal, so good job. Special note, these guys, they formed in 2010, but they started playing live in 2013, and they are not to be confused with the Great Kaiser's White Magician, which has 3 of the same band members, but is considered a separate entity. So fans of the Great Kaiser's White Magician, I am sorry, but this is not the review you're looking for. Another fun note is these guys are also, all 4 of them are also in the band Demon Bitch. This is Demon Bitch, but magic in a different band. And Demon Bitch, if you're not familiar, is a very cool 80s heavy metal throwback band. So if you're fans of Demon Bitch and just want to support these guys, surely you'll like this too. These guys are definitely born too late. But anyway. It's
a very different kind of magic, the other band.
Yes, different magic, but still magic. Anyway.
Yes. And now for the Hereliesmetal Metal 5-point bi-directional classification scale, including the categories such as genre loyalty, listenability, production style, musical complexity, and just plain fun. Please note that either side of each scale is not good or bad. Let's continue.
All right, our first scale, true to nonconformists. I think this is a 1. This is a 1 for proto heavy metal or proto new wave of British heavy metal. But very firmly rooted in 70s rock traditions. The guitars in particular, I hear a lot of Thin Lizzy. Maybe it's just because of the twin guitars, but
yeah,
definitely that feel. The vocals give me a big Uriah Heep vibe a lot of the time. The whole album gives me a pretty big Uriah Heep vibe. Like this is the kind of clear vocal you get from the time before harsh vocals ever existed. And a lot of backing vocals, like.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the first harsh vocalist was. Comment down below.
We should do some research on that. Anyway, what did you think?
The Dealers of Divinity by White Magician is proto-metal to new wave British heavy metal era. I think it's in that very unique late 70s, early 80s time in music, capturing that very well. Angel Witch-like vocals. Whoever the singer is,
yeah.
It sounds a lot like the guy from Angel Witch. I don't know his name, but in some odd way, it's in this weird way. I'm listening to it, and this is kind of a weird thing to say, but comment down below, you guys, if you hear this and this means something to you. Your tracks sound a lot like Megadeth if Megadeth was a rock band. Like your songs sound like Megadeth songs. But like, you know, if Megadeth was never a metal band, it's a weird. I know it's a weird thing to say, but you know, tell me what you guys think about that. Rightly so, as you know, Dave Mustaine was like a big UFO and Scorpions fan, so like it kind of shows in his music. That's why they're better than Metallica. And you know, they're all kind of cut from that same cloth, you know, as well as you guys. So, you know, and White Magician is basically like a jack of all trades and the master of many trades, and not focusing on one particular trade, but being pretty good at each one.
What do you mean by that? Like different trades of proto metal?
Yeah, the styles of music they're mimicking, they're not like focusing on one. So you can never like take this band and be like, oh yeah, they sound like Angel Witch. They sound a lot like Angel, or they sound like a lot like Thin Lizzy. No, like they won't do that for too long. Like, oh, that part sounds like Thin Lizzy. Oh, that part sounds like Angel Witch.
I agree with
so you can't really like, oh, these guys are copying off of these guys. You can't say that about these guys at any point. So that's kind of cool.
Jack of all trades, master of many.
Master of many. And you know that's probably like a line that magicians use. You know, they're probably like, I am a jack of all trades, master of all. You know, it's something, you know, so that works well for you guys.
Well, I saw on their label actually, they had a press release when they were signed. Said Dealers of Divinity is classic metal at its finest, defined by the band's deft use of mystical twin guitar interplay and epic 70s tinged song arrangements, with which carefully bridge White Magician's vast influences, namely Blue Oyster Cult, King Crimson, Angel Witch, Ashbury, Merciful Fate, King Diamonds. I got both of those, and Yngwie Malmsteen, to name a few.
Yeah, like early. You're calling it Blue Oyster Cult because that album cover, that Blue Oyster Cult.
I did think of that. I think they're doing a little homage to that album cover.
I can't think of that name, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's the one with Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah, it's that pretty famous one. Agents of Fortune or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't hear any King Crimson in them. Yeah, explain that. You know, whoever wrote that. I'm
not that familiar with Yngwie, but
yeah, I'm familiar with Yngwie with like Alcatraz and stuff. Which I guess that guitar, it's like its lead guitar thing. Yeah, man.
Anyway, but also on this album, maybe not on many proto metal albums, is a nice interlude. We got an instrumental interlude on here that's kind of got like an Eastern European traveling carnival sounding.
I think it's Italian. To it. It sounds Mediterranean Italian to me.
You picked up Italian. I picked up like it sounded like Eastern European, like gypsy.
Gypsy. Is that a word? Can we say gypsy?
I don't know. Probably no. I don't think so.
Don't say that.
But Romani. It was
Romani.
Roma.
Romani.
And like if this were, it sounded very soundtrack-esque, like this was the montage of someone like scurrying through a lot of back alleys, trading magical artifacts,
stealing things,
and
people's pockets.
I feel like was there a mandolin on that track?
Yeah, it was a mandolin.
We're getting we're classy people here. We've got instruments.
Yeah, if you're gonna play a mandolin, you must be serious. Like you're obviously a multi-talented person. If you pick up a mandolin, you're playing it so skillfully.
But I actually enjoyed the instrumental. I'm usually not. I'm not a very patient person. I have a low attention span.
Yeah, it was welcome. Most like bands, if they throw one of those in, you're like, really? But these guys are like, oh, that's cool.
It was very good. It was awesome.
You guys deserve credit for it.
Anyway.
Yeah, so at first listen, I would swear that these guys were like a Swedish retro rock band. You know, there's so many of them, and they all either sound like Thin Lizzy or like UFO or Scorpions or something. But like I said, you guys are spanning the whole gap there. But I was very surprised you guys are from Detroit, and as you guys probably know, the rest of the world does not look fondly on Detroit. And in fact, you guys probably have a worse rap than New Jersey for the most part. I mean, nobody wants to go to Detroit. Like, for example, all the entire country, they call it like they call it like Goosey Night, or in New Jersey they call it Misfits Night, but in Detroit they call it Devil's Night. And there's a reason for that, because it's Detroit. So yeah, it's kind of surprising, your geography. So yeah, if you guys are listening, comment down below how you really got influenced, in such a strange place. I mean, Detroit kind of hasn't been on the scene since, like, I don't know, the Stooges or something.
I mean, I feel like these guys are all like either best friends, because if you look on their metal archives, they're all in the same bands together. They're all in like 5 different bands with 1 or up to 1 to 4 other members of this band.
Seems like a lot of the bands we do are in that situation. Am I right or am I right?
So it's like either they're best friends or they are the scene. So
yeah, we're all the scene. Yeah.
Anyway. Onto our Sonic Terror scale, the scale of Sonic Terror. This is not terrifying at all. This is getting a 5 for distorted pop.
Besides the magic part, but yeah.
I mean, there is terror, but it's not terrifying for your ears.
No. No, the music is fine. With that late 70s and early 80s golden era rock sound, the idea of sonic terror just isn't possible for that kind of music. It didn't exist back then. No one was that angry or that disillusioned. I don't know. I think that concept didn't really exist, before, I don't know, sometime in the early 80s, maybe when you got like hardcore punk or something. I don't know. Maybe some prog rock was kind of sonic terror. I don't know. I won't get into that.
But yeah, this is a very catchy, groovy, evocative. It even has some feel good riffs, although mostly it's a bit more of a mysterious feel. Very heavy focus on the song craft. They're definitely looking to make pieces here. They're composed kind of in parts, but they're not like super rigid on them, like especially on Magia Nostra. There's a lot of sections to that song, but they're like breathing sections. Like some of them feel almost jammy in a way, but definitely it never gets out of hand. It's always still like composed, but like breathing. As the best way I could put it. And all the parts are memorable and interesting. Even though only 2 songs come in under 7 minutes on this album, and if we shouldn't actually count the interlude, so 1 song is under 7 minutes. But they're never boring and they never wear out their welcome.
Any band you could sing their riffs, it was just good riffs. You could just kind of sing them in your head over. You can remember they get stuck in your head, which one of them is right now. It's kind of that's not a thing you usually get. Most riffs are kind of forgettable. But what is Magia Nostra? That sounds Italian. It's like magic. What is Nostra?
That looks like our magic. Our magic. Perhaps?
Our magic. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. So also like music for magicians, like the concept shouldn't really be displeasing to the ear ever. I mean, think about musicians. Magicians bring joy or fear to children, adults and seniors alike. You have magic shows. When you were a kid, like magic. Oh, it's a magic show. You weren't. Maybe you probably weren't scared of it. Back then. Bar mitzvahs, birthday parties, even openers for like bad comedians. Magicians are everywhere, and they're supposed to bring us a good time.
So it should be pleasing music.
Yeah, unless they pull like a bloody rabbit out of a hat. It's some like hard.
Well, there's those like edgy rock and roll magicians.
Oh yeah, there's those things, those tours, that open up for like bands, like they whatever.
Even though they're not going to play a Sonic Terror song either.
So. No.
Either way,
it's still fun.
That's a 5. Okay, yeah. Production 3.5. I think we're gonna call this a 3.5, but what we have here is period perfect retro production of the era we've been mentioning so often. Everything sounds really great, and so again, it's not the easiest thing to do to get things sounding really good with this retro production, but because it is retro, it's obviously not a super clean production, and that's obviously intentional. So I'm not sure where to put that on this scale. It's a 3.5.
It's yet another modern album we've reviewed that shows meant to sound old. It was made today, but it sounds like 1979. Everyone's kind of doing this these days, and it's obvious that there's no hope for the next sonic revolution in metal. That's becoming evidently clear every day, and that's fine. Like, I'm good with people not making a new metal sound because it usually just.
I mean, I like retro production.
Yeah, it usually ends.
What are you asking for?
Nothing. No, I'm like, I guess I'm saying like this is. I guess this is what we're gonna do for me. For us to like it. Because if some band comes out with some new sound, I'm probably like, ugh, I can't imagine like us reviewing a band that's doing that, like and really liking it. So, but the question is, like, how do you guys do it? Since I'm hearing so much of it, I kind of want to get to the bottom of this as a person that's interested in recording myself. Is it authentic gear, with like, or is it recorded on tape, like actual, like you see in the old movies? Or is it like a digital plugin that makes it sound that way? Comment down below if you guys are listening, or if anyone's listening, if they could kind of answer the mechanics behind it, because I'm interested in that. So yeah, that's my take on it.
All right. Counting the notes, the note counts, more like a 3.5 or a 4. Would you agree?
Yeah, this is like a broad era in music that White Magician is recreating, and generally requires a decent amount of notes in that era of music. It's in part because of this kind of music going on in the mid to late 70s that there were certain bitter and less talented folk, no offense to them because they innovated music themselves, but they invented punk rock because of music like this. They were like, I can't play that, I'm gonna play 3 chords, and that's how that came about. The solos are kind of period accurate down to the tone. You even get a little bit of like Brian May in some of those solos, which is kind of cool. This is, at a time before the rise of modern super guitarists of the 80s, those kind of Stevie Vai's, Joe Satriani's. And, and that's a trend that's only gotten more extreme in modern day with, metal specific genres. So, you guys have that really captured well.
I don't know if I quite agree that there are no super guitarists in this group.
Not the same.
We have someone with a mandolin.
I know
I think that the mandolin is also on that song Magia Nostra. We already It's not just on that interlude. But you're clearly a musician at that point. You are, if you want to.
The standard of super guitarists got kind of more annoying as time went on. I guess these guys would have been kind of considered super guitarists at the time.
I actually had a couple of guitar solos I wanted to highlight, like on track 4, In Memoriam. What was it? Magic and Love, something like that. Has a very ripping heavy metal guitar solo, which is in contrast to a song that is, for the most part, like a very passionate, groovy 70s rock song for the most part. But he almost goes into shredding on that song.
Yeah, but he's keeping to like the standard.
It never goes overboard, but it did kind of stick out to me as being much more like the peak of heavy metal on the album.
Yeah.
But yes, for the most part, the guitar solos are these moody, drawn out solos like on Magia Nostra.
What makes it special is he's able to limit, even though he has the knowledge of 2020 guitar playing and all the knowledge of all the super guitars, he's able to limit himself to the guitar solo how it would sound in 1979.
Yeah, I think that's key here is that everyone's clearly, very good at all their instruments. The bass, very interesting. The drumming is very interesting as well. But no one's, showing off. They're playing like they would be. They're
LARPing as 1979. Which is not, I think, you might try to break out of that, but they're not.
Okay. So I just want to highlight the vocal here because it is literally perfect. Like it's this smooth, passionate, very vintage vocal, never overdone or overblown. And I just wanted to note it because with a lot of the other retro backs, particularly the Swedish ones you mentioned, like the things I get hung up on them is usually the vocal. It's either like this kind of more modern sounding vocal in contrast, which I don't enjoy, or they're trying to do this vocal but it's too weak or it's kind of like off key, and I just can't get into it. Like it kind of kills it for me. So like this guy is like good enough to have been on a period record at the time, which back then if you're a band getting a record deal, like your vocalist is probably very good, like they have a distinct sound, they're interesting, and that's that was part of getting the deal.
Back when they wanted frontmen back then.
Yeah, like you couldn't just have just anybody on the vocals back then, which I think a lot of like these little like retro bands these days, like it's much less the focus.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not really it's not MTV time anymore. It's not about seeing them anymore, really. Back then, like they needed a Robert Plant frontman. A sexy front man. You don't really need that anymore. You can have a fat guy up there.
I mean, I don't know if he's sexy, but I'm just saying, like the style of vocal is very difficult to do.
Yeah,
because I hear a lot of retro bands try to do it and fail.
Yeah, they either fail or like they try too hard. They do it almost where it's like a parody.
Like everything is great. Like the guitarists are great. Everything's awesome except for the vocal, and it's just like I appreciate it when it's like the vocals are actually good enough to have been in 1979.
Yeah, it sounds like the
on
guy
like
from
a major label record.
Sounds like the guy from Angel Witch, exactly the guy from Angel Witch.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. So, but yeah, some guys will like try so hard it almost sounds like parody. Like it almost sounds like it's like when they try to make an 80s movie today and it just doesn't look right. It's like that kind of feel. It's like, oh, this movie's supposed to take this. It's like you don't have me convinced. This
guy never overdoes it.
Yes, he doesn't overdo it.
No one's overdoing it. I would say all these performances are not overdone. They are exactly as many notes are needed, which are a lot of notes, but not. They knew how many notes.
Yeah, but
they needed to
you
play.
couldn't play too many notes back then because like there was a lot of notes back then, but there wasn't an extreme amount like that. The concept of prog metal didn't really exist back then. Like you couldn't do that back then. The technology didn't exist or something.
There was no prog metal.
Not like
there was prog metal.
Not like Dream Theater.
Okay, well there was prog rock.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, but it's not the same thing. Like the But think of the Dream Theater sound. It's like, you know, and think of King Crimson or Genesis.
Technology wasn't there yet.
Technology wasn't there yet. Wasn't there. They didn't have the ability to do that.
Too many notes for the
guitars
70s
couldn't play that
ear
way back
to
then.
hear.
Yes.
There's only so many notes the ear can hear.
That's it.
And, yes. Okay. All right. Moving on. The fun scale. Our last and favorite scale. This is giving it a 2 or 2.5 maybe here. On the fun side, we have obviously, because of the magic theme, which I find charming magic theme here. There's some very dramatic magical chanting.
Yeah.
At several points throughout the album.
There was that one song where the guy goes, Vini, Vici. Like, you guys are saying, like, I came, we saw, we kicked its ass, right? Like, that's what you guys are saying, right? Unless you're saying something else. That's what I hear. I'm hearing the Latin Caesar phrase.
Maybe that's because he's the great Kaiser.
Yeah, he comes, he saws, he kicks his ass.
Okay. I found myself very amused, in particular, just so fixated on the song "The Power of the Stone." Yeah. I don't know why. I just wanted to know more about the stone because he's not immune to the power of the stone. His magic is weak.
He's not immune to the power of the stone.
I want to hear the story of the stone.
It's not as complicated as the Cobra story, but you know, it's.
We don't know.
It's true. Know. He didn't get into it. So.
But yes, a lot of the lyrics are, you know, obviously very. What's the audible word for legible? They're audible.
Audible.
Because this is a nice, clear voice. But yes, very entrancing.
Yeah. Anything like about magicians and magic culture in general is fun, right? Like we went over before. Unless you know you're an actual magician, which I don't think you guys are. Like, comment down below. But I don't. Think,
you doubt?
I don't think you guys are magicians. Like the magician culture. You know the magician culture. Tell me if you guys are involved in that. I would like to know. But you know this album might, you know, if you actually are a magician, like listening to this album, maybe it'll bring trauma to you, and it might make you drink more. You know, because I don't think magicians have good lives.
All right. Well, the theme is fun, but however, I didn't find the music to be, you know, it wasn't like goofy music.
No.
Like, I feel like the musical approach was pretty serious. There was a kind of a demented intro guitar lick to track 2, Mad Magic 2 in the Absences of God, Bad Magic. Great title. It's a very fun, demented guitar lick. But other than that, like, it's a very moody album. We've got a lot of moods attempted and achieved, like mystery, adventure, exaltation, intrigue. You know, this is the kind of, you put this album on, someone walks in the room, they're going to be like, what's going on?
That's
here?
a magician word. It's like intrigue. You get the cards, like intrigue. Pick a card for your life.
But yeah, you play this, someone's going to be like, what's going on?
Yeah, like, oh, you know, that's intrigue. Oh, that's what I think of intrigue. But, if this album came out like in 79, no one would take it. No one would think it's funny. Everyone would take it 100% seriously.
That's why I didn't want to go all the way to fun.
Yeah.
You know, there's a level of seriousness. I also feel like, I don't know, is there a story going on here? I feel like it's a dark story.
Some sort of concept. A loose concept.
Dealers of Divinity. It's dark.
Like I think of the Blue Oyster Cult album. I think of the guy with the... That's what I think of. That's a picture in my head. Even though the album doesn't sound anything like that.
Let's look at the cover art.
What do you got here? So this is interesting. This is a painting of some sort.
Looks like a painting. It is apparently credited to Mofang 10 Grand, who is the bassist. So he's a painter.
This is a very nice painting. Now what's going on here? This guy's got scissors back here. And this guy has a, I don't know what that is. But these are like faceless politicians, it seems like.
Well, he's got some kind of thing with with a string going through the card, so he's like pulling the strings. Pulling the strings. That guy's got scissors, so he's got, you know.
He cuts the string.
And this guy, he's just their puppet.
He's dealing, but yeah, he's doing it for like the authority, the lizard people, maybe. I don't know. So
it just raises more questions than it answers.
Yeah, guys, explain this. If you hear this, tell me what this is about. Because, you know, a lot of times we like to go over interesting album artwork. You know, and most of the album artwork that we look at is interesting, especially yours is very interesting.
Is there any significance to the Ace of Hearts?
There's a lot going on here. There's fire and there's water over here. He's submerged in water. And this is the
Is he in hell?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that's not water.
And look at the card. It's an Ace of Hearts. Ace of Hearts.
What does it mean?
This guy's a watch here. They have red ties, but they're faceless.
And he's got a red vest and a black tie.
That's something too. So yeah, tell me what's going on.
I think that's more just a color aesthetic choice.
I don't think these guys just threw this down. I think like they planned this painting very carefully.
Every brushstroke meant something.
Yeah, so I want to know why, because I don't understand magicians. All I know is they drink a lot. So tell me like what's going on here.
All right.
Very cool.
In conclusion, this album was awesome. It's a very nice listen, and I was excited the moment I found it. And a very strong contender, I think, for my various year-end lists.
Yeah, this is like one of those albums, a retro album. We've done a lot of retro albums, but this is like one of the best retro sounding albums because it's so authentic. It's not forced in any way. It just happened naturally, and it just feels like it really is from 1979 without question. So that's my take on it.
All right. White Magician, Dealers of Divinity.
Check it out. Check out their Bandcamp. The links are down below. And check out their metal archives and check out their merch and stuff. So.
And if you like this video, remember to like, comment, and
subscribe. That too. We haven't said that in a while, right? We haven't told them to like our videos, but
we suck at this.
No, that's fine. We don't have to. We shouldn't have to tell them to do it. They should do it anyway. All right. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time with another